Well, hello, good people. I'm Dr. L. Brown.
And I'm Ricky too.
And today we're going to talk about a characteristic of autism, which is being unresponsive to others. I
think being unresponsive, which means you don't even bother, you don't bother to greet them. You just almost it's not like something bad. It's like something that's over time is disrespectful.
Yeah. Sometimes people can perceive it as disrespectful, or they can perceive it as you are uninterested in them. And I guess in a way you might be uninterested, but it's not from a personal place. Like, I don't like you, I'm not interested in you.
Yeah.
I first noticed this in Ricky too when he was in kindergarten, because prior to that, he's always been pretty responsive to me and to his father. So, and people who, he was around quite often. His circle was very small, so I didn't notice it as much. And then some of the things I attributed to his age, and I was like, oh, well, he's in parallel play. And parallel play is when children play alongside each other, but not necessarily
into each other.
They're not necessarily into each other. They're not necessarily
each other,
engaged. They're not playing with each other. They're not engaged along with each other.
Yeah, along with each other.
Right. So I said, well, maybe he's just in parallel play. Well, when we started kindergarten here, Ricky 2 has a really cool name, Ricky 2. And kids have always loved to say the name Ricky 2. So when we started school and he had the name Ricky 2, children would love to call out Ricky 2, Ricky 2. So one day we were coming from the bus. We were coming past the buses because I would walk to school to pick him up and we would walk home together each day. Yeah. So we were walking home and we had to pass all of the buses in order to leave the school grounds. And the kids were hanging out the bus window. Bye, Ricky 2. Hey, Ricky 2. Hi, Ricky 2. And as
almost like they're acting like they're my fans.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. So they were all very eager to speak to Ricky 2 or say goodbye to Ricky 2. And I turned to Ricky 2, who was looking straight ahead, who was not responding to any of the children. And I said, hey.
Because I was so focused. Sometimes, guess what?
What?
If when you're so focused on something, you don't even notice that they even wave to you.
Yeah. So sometimes he's so into his thoughts that he doesn't even notice the stuff around him.
That's called deep thinking.
Deep thinking. Ooh, deep thinking. So with that, I then told Ricky 2, I said, hey, those children are speaking to you. When they speak to you, you should speak back to them, because that communicates, they're saying, hey, we like you, we want to be your friend. And when you speak back, you're saying, hey, I like you too, and I want to be your friend. And after I told my baby that, he said, but I don't want to speak. And when he said that, I was like,
well, I don't want to speak.
And I was like, well, if he doesn't want to speak, who am I to make him speak? Or who am I to make him get in that place where
I want to speak, or I'm too busy.
Or he's too busy. He's too consumed with his thoughts. And so while many people may not know this, because I've learned to act like an extrovert in public.
Like, guess what? When I was young, it was cute. It was cute that I said, I didn't want to speak when I was young. That's because, like the original action said, sorry, I was so busy. I didn't know that they were speaking to me. But the reaction the cutest thing that I responded to that you heard was, I want to speak. That said so innocently.
You did say it innocently, so I knew that you meant it. But one of the reasons why I respected it is because mommy is an introvert. So that means that my favorite place in the world is in my brain. Yeah. I don't necessarily seek people out. I don't need people to feel comfortable. And actually, if I'm around too many people, it's a very draining experience for me.
It gets like very frightening and annoying.
Yeah, so probably annoying, not necessarily frightening. Well, sometimes it might be a little frightening for me, but it certainly is draining. So with that, I was like, well, okay, as an introvert, I can understand, wanting to be in one's head. So I gave Ricky the option of not responding to people if he didn't feel like he wanted to respond to people, or if it was something that was contrary to what made him feel most comfortable. However, one of the things that we are now learning is while Ricky 2 is still that way, let's use the skate park for example. Yeah. Like one day I couldn't find him immediately at the skate park, and I asked some other boys who were there. I was like, well, have you seen my son? And they were like, oh yeah, he's right over there. And then they pointed Ricky 2 out. And they said to me, yeah, we try to talk to him all the time, but he doesn't, talk to us.
Because it can be one that it could be a mood, or it can be that they're way too busy and they forgot or didn't know.
No, they were saying that you didn't talk to them. Oh, so you're saying it was because you were in a mood or you were busy?
No, because I asked them, sometimes I ask them, I can only talk to them if when they're playing like some sort of game and I want to be invited.
Right, but that was the thing that we have now had to have a conversation about. He's saying that he only talks to them when they are doing something that interests him, or if he would like them to do something for him, like, take a video of him skating. Yeah. And what I wanted Ricky 2 to understand now that he wants to engage with people is that there's a certain level of reciprocity that has to happen. So that's a back and forth. That, sometimes you have to talk to people when you don't really want to talk to people, or when you're really not interested, because you want them to be interested when you talk.
Guess what? I saw on TikTok videos like saying, and in one of the TikTok videos, it said, if when you see me, just say hi.
Yeah. When you see me, just say hi. So even...
you don't have to do anything. Just say hi to me. It'll just really make my day.
It just really make your day. And so now that you're older and relationships are becoming more important to you, this is an area that we have to work on. Like, I didn't want to force it before because that's not something that he wanted. But now that he wants relationships with people, now we have to practice on, how does one step outside of their brain so that they can engage with others, because innately he is unresponsive to people because he's in his favorite place, which is his brain. So that's something that we're going to work on.
Or it's known as heavy brain work.
It's heavy brain work. However, now you want to talk to people sometimes, but when you go up to talk to them, there's not a relationship there because you haven't talked to them when they initially tried to talk to you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as your child gets older, some of the characteristics that are innately theirs, you will have to work to build strategies. And right now, we are in the middle of this one. So I don't have an answer yet. We're still trying to figure it out. How do we make sure that Ricky 2 has options of relationships while still honoring the things that make him him? So in time, he'll find his tribe of people who
I like or want to be around with.
Right. People you like and people you want to be around with.
Because when you get older,
mm-hmm.
when you get older, mm-hmm. it actually is like a weird, it's actually a weird like reason. Yeah, it's like very weird.
What's weird?
That you don't usually hang out with people a lot
mm-hmm.
when you get older than you used to be hang out with a lot of people.
Well, what happens there, that's a little different so when children are young, their relationships have a lot to do with their parents. So your friends were really my friends' children.
Yeah.
I put an S on children. My friends' children were your friends. However, as children get older, they start to make their own friends based on their interests, based on the people that they talk to, based on the people they feel most comfortable with.
I'll say if when they do something very interesting, and that's, can I be friends with you, or can I
Right.
join?
Right.
Because how friendship usually happens, like friendship usually happens when you get engaged or something, or someone does something cool you want, or there's like a very cool game that your friends are playing, you want to get invited to it, or there's like a very cool phrase that your friend always says.
But even with that, we have to make sure that if we want to sustain the relationship, there has to be a certain level of reciprocity. Like how with me, you give me love, I give you love. You give me attention, I give you attention. And so while I know your nature may be to be unresponsive, we have to practice on that reciprocity of giving people.
Being just being like, because that's what being like participated.
That's a great word to use. Participating in things outside of the things that are interesting to you. Because I know when you were younger, I was like, well, you got to do some of the things that other kids want to do. You're like, well, I don't want to. And I was like, well, okay. Because again, it was a characteristic of autism. However, now that he's older, he wants things and I want him to get the things that he wants. So therefore, we have to ensure that we're working on the social skills that will allow you to have those relationships.
Those awesome as well as responsible relationships.
Those awesome and responsible relationships. So being responsive to others is certainly a characteristic for some people on the autism spectrum. Go with your child. I didn't push him before he was ready because I didn't want it to seem punitive when I was trying to say, speak to that person. But now that that's something that he wants, we are working to encourage and grow in that area.
Everyone has a different, everyone's different, and they can talk to their people, to anyone, whatever time they want to. Like, don't force them to hang with friends. Because they're getting older now. That's their decision that they need to decide.
That's their decision that they need to decide. You're so wise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, with that, that's about all I have on this subject. Do you have anything you want to share?
Nope. I think we're good.
All right. Well, I think we're good. From our family to your family. Bye.
Bye.